right, we're at Funding the Commons, Earth Commons, and we have a very special guest today, Professor Asterisk, who is just on stage. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you very much for having me.
And what brings you to the Funding the Commons, Earth Commons event?
Well, I've been brought here actually because one of my fellow professors, Professor Hope, he's dying. And we've been reaching out to you as a species to help bring him back to life. So we've created a new country for you all, a space between, to come and bring together all the problems that we've had in the past and try and work out how we can build a future we need. So I'm here in Embassy for Imagination.
Okay, so a new country, what does that mean?
Well, I don't know, there's 190 of them. Someone says country, draws some lines, and then puts some people in it. And we thought, all right, well, let's make one, call it Imagi-Nation, and then help human beings come and wake up their imagination, get back to relation with nature. Don't be such wankers about holding on to all the knowledge. Pass it on. Get on with it.
And so this doesn't exist in a specific geography, Imagination?
Well, it's sort of like, Matt, in your head, you go to sleep when you have lots of stuff going on. I imagine you look like a clever fellow with lots of thoughts. And we have our imagination activated all the time. And this particular place, it lives in the most imaginative thing, or one of the most imaginative things we've done, the internet. So we can go hang out in there. It's an alternative to these, I don't want to be rude, but I don't think they're very social, these networks, these big advertising agencies that sell us heaps of shit and steal all our attention. So we built a relational network, an economy that can be traded on reputation, on knowledge, on time, on opportunities. We claim in time together. And when you think about the commons, that common health has got to be driven by commonwealth. And the most commonwealth we got is knowledge. And at the moment, we're acting a bit brattish and a bit immature, just holding on to it ourselves like we own it. A great friend of mine, Ray Charles, once said, none of us own the notes. We're lucky enough to hold them for a little bit, and then we pass them on. So that's what we're doing.
What's an example of a piece of knowledge that is being held onto in our current society that imagination helps to liberate?
Well, I think anyone that has any trademark anywhere in the world, that's an example. We don't own it. There was dinosaurs here, big ones. And then we've been around for a long time watching you all, seeing all these other species come and go. You don't own it. You know it for a little bit. And it's a piece of the puzzle. That's a better way to think about it. So whether you have this literal meaning that you can translate, like, I'm an expert in this certain part of legal legislation, and I've worked out how to codify that into a variety of blocks, that I will codify the blocks and I will put the robots into the blocks. And I've said so many words that you're now so confused that you feel like I'm an expert. That's not knowledge. It's confusing. Real knowledge meets each other, translates. That's what real knowledge holders do.
So, Professor, before this interview, because I've never actually interviewed Professor Asterisk before.
Well, there's only one of me, so that's good news. Unless my sister is going around dressing up as me again, that would be very confusing. Cheryl, she's a bit of a daft one. She's got funny in the head.
Does she have hair like yours?
No one has hair like me, buddy.
So, well, one of your friends told me that part of your work is around indigenous knowledge systems. Help me understand the linkages.
Well, I couldn't claim that. No, that would be that fella. He a real troublemaker, you see. He comes from a place called Wagga Wagga. And so they had to name it twice just so they could remind him how to say it. Sometimes he's a bit simple in the head, that fella. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not an expert in indigenous knowledge systems. You were picked up by my accent. I've been co-opted by the British and then I escaped. So actually, I escaped this control and command, build the castles, get them under control. They used me as a spokesperson. I was there as a jester to some of the greatest kings you've ever known. And then I thought, nah, there's relations outside beyond these castle walls. Look at all those other animals, 7 million of them. All those other people. I don't want to live in a castle and lock them out. So I wrote a book called Hoodie Economics. It's going to be a bestseller, you see. There's this other guy who's saying that he wrote it. But anyway, that's really what I'm about. I'm about relations, bringing the marginal knowledge to start the design queue, creating some trading routes, get on with it, be smarter, see you later, we'll go on to the next planet.
So Hoodie Economics, is that Tyson Yunkaporta?
No. Tyson, he wrote Sand Talk. Like, he did a wonderful, wonderful job at that. Like, brilliant. But I'm the economist, like I wrote Hoodie Economics. I put a hoodie and economics together. And you can eat your donut when you're reading it too and have your donut economics. I'm very clever.
So who's this other guy saying that he wrote it?
Oh, he's a fraud.
Is his name Jack Manning Bancroft?
Yeah, don't talk to him.
Okay, gotcha.
He got a little bit too much charisma. You got to watch them.
Okay.
That's one of the other problems of these systems we inherited, isn't it? Charismatic leaders. You can't even say it properly with an accent like mine.
So Hoodie Economics, this book coming out, what's it about?
It's already out there, yeah. It's in the book.
It's already out. So Hoodie Economics.
You got to read it, brother. It's a great read.
Okay, so Hoodie Economics.
I spent all this time in a forest, underneath a rock, underneath a worm, and dug 10 metres into the ground with a little bit of a sidestep through this other tunnel. And then when I went through the tunnel, I said hello to this badger, and I sat down there in this little writing hollow, and I wrote this book from the core of the earth to you.
And so what are some of the key messages of Hoodie Economics?
Well, we got to relate first. And to build a relational economy, we need our imagination activated, my bro, which is so nice because I can feel you. You're a bit nervous talking to me before the camera came on, and you see me now. And for the rest of the day, you'll see a bit different. You've opened up that little portal. And when you're imagining, we can move past getting stuck about race and our differences. We can get into the design. We can unlock our trauma. We can make the bridges we need in our mind, in our soul, in our being to tomorrow. Then there's, like death, like every organisation should die. Like we probably should have worked that one out. So setting intentional death dates. And there's some paintings in there. There's a few other magical things hopefully you like.
Is that what you meant by death pledge?
Yeah, take the death pledge. Get on with it.
So if I took a death pledge, what does that mean?
Well, organisationally, like what is bullshit that you live forever? It's a lie.
Right. So we make these corporations, but they don't actually have expiration dates.
Yeah, we hit it. Like we can't even say the word death without going, ooh.
Right.
All going to die. And so we're like, oh, well, scared of our death. So let's make these organisations called Live On Forever, Never Gonna Die. Perpetual, never gonna die, never gonna die, never. I'm scared of dying. I don't want my mum to hug me. I'm a CEO of a big building in a top floor, lonely, crying myself to sleep. Gonna die. In relation, so work out how you're going to pass on the notes and create a marketplace for everybody else afterwards. Knowledge shared. Meet the rest of the organisations, all in relation. Don't have to have the pressure forever. Don't have to be a fake. Don't have to be a hero. Don't have to wear a mask. Don't have to be a puppet. Be you. Do it well. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Then get out of here. Pass it on. Death date.
And what did you have to say in Hoodie Economics about custodianship?
Well, it's just that, as a species, I've been observing that what you're meant to be, humans, is in relation with nature and you're part of nature. And the role of a human being, you're a very, 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 very good listener when you want to be. Some of you Americans talk a bit too much. But for the most part, you can listen, you can learn, and you can translate. It's in you. You can actually talk to other animals. You can learn from them, and you can pass on the knowledge. We're meant to be in the land, in this earth. That's what a custodian is. Someone who shepherds it all. And not out of some duty servicing. It's cool. It's cool hanging out with a platypus.
And how do we pass on the knowledge to the next generation after us?
Well, you got to work it out yourself, bro. You got to do some of the work. You can't ask me for all of it. But I'll be here. I'll walk along with you, and we've got to sense make it together. That's how you do it. You ask that question, not to me, but to you and to the other guys behind the camera and to the people watching, and we share it. Stop looking to the people outside the margins for the answers or the theories and start applying them together. And we'll make up our new collaboration language in between. We'll make up the vocab we need in between imagination, custodianship, what we got and what we need.
So, Professor, this relational economy sounds great.
Are you going to get me a coffee soon? You
No.
said I'll get a coffee.
No, do you drink coffee?
Are you getting me? And anyone going? How
There's
long?
some
How
water
long
right
is this
there.
interview going? My agent's going to call soon. He feel like it might be going over time. I reckon.
Yeah, we'll refund the speaker fee that you paid.
You got to refund it.
Yeah,
I paid you a speaker fee. This
you
is-
didn't know that.
This is some very poor economic modelling. I feel extorted.
So
You're doing very well, I think.
I've been hearing this term a lot lately, composting late stage capitalism,
Mm.
and people talking about this transition. And you talk about this relational economy, and that sounds great. But like, do you have any thoughts on how we get there or what the transition looks like?
Yes?
And would you like to share some of those?
Yeah, we shift our time, we shift our attention, and we shift our intention with that attention.
That simple.
Yes, sir.
And so how many people are part of Imagination?
Well, we've been working on it for 20 years around the world. So there's been 52 countries we've learnt from. There's been hundreds of thousands of people we've connected with. And now we're looking to focus on 5,000 people that can be the relational outposts, the embassies for all of us to be able to create the trading routes we need to navigate that very challenge you said between what we've got and where we need to get to. And so that translation group will hopefully be the sort of legacy citizens of Imagination. And then we'll do some like systems change stuff. And by the way, I'm going to be on a TV show. So that's in Imagination where we're making a professor's show to help capture all the knowledge and all the stuff that's going on. And yeah, there'll be a few other things coming out and tools and wisdom. And we've got to do it all, you know. We've got to do it all at once. We've got to work how to shift the credit rating, what we value in our organisations and schools and homes and citizens. So we'll do that with our visas. We've got to help really charge up the systems change citizens and help them not try and control it all with making sense, but sense, then make. And then we need tools. We need big story, big story that can wake us up and keep us going. Text that can cut through for the 15-year-olds who are feeling nervous and anxious from these never-ending tick, 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 tick things they all got to digest all the time. Parents that don't know how to talk to their kids. CEOs that want to change but don't know a path. We've got to translate. That's a job, and we can do the job together. It's been a pleasure being interviewed by you. That was the last question, wasn't it?
Well, I have one more question.
Oh, okay.
We're at Funding the Commons, Earth Commons Conference. What do you think of this place? And also curious what you make of the conversations about crypto and Web3.
Look, I think it's all important, you know. I think the most important part of the idea of a commons, of really finding that commonality, that ally, is we've got to spend as much time, like at least 30% of our budgeted time and resources on relating to each other. So really working out where we fit and where we fit with others. If we try to be the heroes and we just put a different cloak on and then we call it crypto or we do it in the internet, then we're going to get unstuck. When we're in relation with each other, we spend the time focusing on our relations with each other, the time in between us, that tough time to translate between different species and different races and spaces. In that tough translation, that's where we'll get the knowledge and the wisdom. And I'm hopeful that this group is ready to take that on. I really am.
If anyone's watching or listening, how do they get involved in Imagination and with Hoodie Economics?
Well, we'll find you, or you can do the internet thing. You look up AIMEmentoring.com and you can buy Hoodie Economics in any good bookstore. And if they're not there, well, you can go to the internet again.
Professor Asterisk, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. So check out Hoodie Economics and AIME Mentoring. There's links in the show notes. And give it up for our first ever puppet on this show.
Thank you. And you look out for my sister, everybody. She's a fraud.